Have you ever gotten one of those emails from like a rich prince in a foreign country? You know those ones where he's trying to give you like a small multi-million-dollar percentage of his fortune just for helping him out? Even if you haven't gotten one of those, if you did, what would you do? See, I've personally gotten a couple of those over the years, and I always just ignore them. That's because it's clearly fake, right? Anything that easy has a catch. What if somebody walked up to you and offered you $20 for no reason? It would be normal to be a little sketched out, right? Like, is this a prank? Do you think that I'm selling something? I don't work here, okay? This whole mentality of being skeptical is part of being human, and it can basically be summed up in the words, anything that has value requires some amount of work. And more than anywhere else, that applies to attraction and relationships. All right, so hypothetically, your crush comes up to you and gets on his hands and knees and just starts begging for you to date him. I'm talking like crying as he's doing it. He's very desperate. Yeah, it's something that you've wanted, but not like this. Because if they fall in love with you that hard and that quickly, not only does it feel unearned and a little too easy, but it's just not fun. And the exact same thing applies to him. Guys want to chase, even if they won't admit it. It's what makes finally getting the girl rewarding. But after that, most likely they're not gonna stay up at night thinking about them, because most of their questions, they already got the answers to. They didn't have time to wonder anything about them. They just met them and hooked up. But if you flirt for weeks on end and then start dating, he's gonna feel like because of the work that he put in, the relationship that you guys grew, he's the only person that could have won being with you. So that brings up the big question and the topic of today's video. How do you get him to chase you? The first thing that you need to do, and definitely the most important on this list, is just to stop chasing him. It's like playing with a dog. If you run after it, it'll run away. But if you run from it, it'll chase. If you were previously trying to start conversations with this guy, sending the first text, putting in most of the work, you need to completely stop. Don't be rude about it, and if he starts talking to you, continue as if you were the person who started it. Like, be friendly, but just make him come to you. And you know what? Maybe at first he won't come to you. Maybe it'll seem like he never noticed that you left, and he has no problem moving on without you. And that's why you need to move on to the next step. Make him jealous. Have him see that he is far from being the only fish in the sea. So talk to other guys around him, go on dates if you can. Just have him see that you are somebody that other guys want. See, jealousy stems from insecurity, and the best way to make someone feel secure in who they're dating is for them to know that if they weren't the person dating you, someone else would. See, this creates competition, and it lets him feel that if he can somehow convince you to date him, he has found himself a victory over all these other guys. Good thing you've manipulated the hell out of him to get yourself here. So now that you've hopefully got some interest, you got a bite, time to take it to the next step. You need to play hard to get. Whatever you do, don't be an open book and tell him everything going on in your life. In fact, the less you say, the more you keep him guessing. Generally, when we like someone, it's real easy to just let them into your life and say more than you were just asked about. But you need to try and treat them like anyone else who you're just friendly with and not rant all day. Because generally when we're talking to people that we like, we want them to know all the things about us and hopefully click somewhere, but you need to cut that out. And don't get me wrong, there's a clear line here between just being rude and completely uninterested versus being nice and not telling them everything. So be nice, but don't give him your life story whenever he asks a question. A great move in general when playing hard to get is something called the push-pull method. And it's something that we already do every day without really realizing it. The idea is basically pulling someone in with a compliment or saying something nice to them, and then pushing them away with a joke that kind of shows while you find them attractive, you're not too interested. It sounds a little complicated and it's very easy to overthink, but this is something that we are constantly doing. The first example that comes to mind of this is something that happened to me just a few weeks ago when I saw a girl wearing overalls, and so I went up to her and I said, I am so jealous of the fact that you can wear overalls and actually look great, because when I wear them, or really any dude wears them, we just look like we grew up on a farm. To put it simply, it's a way of saying, one, I recognize that you're attractive, but two, that's not the point of what I'm saying, so let's move past it. So you're showing that you could be interested, but not telling them like, hey, please, I need this. But even if you follow the tips that I just gave and you woo your crush and the two of you get married and live happily ever after, the chase isn't gonna stop. Having to work for affection and having someone work for your affection is what keeps things exciting. And don't get me wrong, once you're in a relationship, this is something that you should both take turns doing, but chasing is just what makes things fun. Because if there's no chase in a relationship, there's no reason to go on dates or buy each other gifts or really do anything that's not completely self-serving. Chasing is really just about letting the other person know that you're interested, and them doing the same thing, and just trying to earn each other's affection. So just keep in mind, in all good, happy, and healthy relationships, the chase lasts forever. Anyways, that was the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up just to let me know. I didn't want this video to get too far off topic, but I had an idea for doing a separate video specifically about why guys might stop chasing. So if that's something that you're interested in and want to see, let me know by getting this video to 2,000 thumbs up. If we can get there, I will make that happen. Also, tell me below in the comments if you've ever had a guy chase you and what you did to get there, and just any fun stories related to that. I'm really interested to see what you guys say, and hopefully there'll be a few additional good tips down there, so go check it out. And I will be picking my favorite comments to feature at the end of next week's video. Speaking of which, last week I asked for some things that you've said to guys that didn't really play out the way that you wanted it to. So here are some of my favorite comments from that video, and again, if you want to be featured next week, leave a comment down below today, and maybe I'll feature you. Lastly, and just so you never miss an upload, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on notifications, and with all that being said, I'll see you next week. Peace!